always say, no place like America when you're working, no place like India if you're retired. That's the way I have always felt. To this day, I feel the same thing.
Yeah.
And among 30 residents we have here today in our senior home,
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Desi Return. Today, I'm really excited and really grateful to have Mr. and Mrs. Ramakrishnan on our show. They are very young, 88 and 82, and still doing a lot of service at this age and really energetic. And both of them have spent quite a bit of time abroad before deciding to move back to India during the retirement. They have spent close to 14 years in Africa and 16 years in US as a very prominent tax controller, consultant, very qualified chartered account before deciding to move back to India. Currently, at the age of 75, Mr. Ramakrishnan and Mrs. Ramakrishnan has been leading a non-profit organization to take care of elderly people, which we will dive into. I'm really grateful to have both of you on our show and looking forward to our discussion. With that, welcome to the show.
thank you.
So, if we can start and with a bit of a background, your background, what made you to move abroad, and what was the decision to return back to India? I think that would be very helpful.
First, we went to Africa for a spell of nearly 14 years. The employer was a very good group based in London, and they were taking care of us in every way. And I was very happy with them for about 14 years. At the end of my spell there, I was Group MD for 14 manufacturing companies. And they were also, that employer was also a East African Indian group called the Chandaria family. And they were really, really helpful and kind in terms of an employer kind of a thing. And I enjoyed every bit of my time in Africa. Although initially before going to Africa, I was wondering, hey, what am I doing? Where am I getting into? But it was totally different experience and very rewarding in a way. After we came back from Africa, we went to the US for about 16 years in New Jersey, Hamilton. And again, I went there as a tax consultant. Some portion I was working with H&R Block in the US, together with our own private thing. And once again, I really enjoyed the work I was doing there, plus, of course, the life we had there. And my wife was also doing some teaching while she was in Africa. She was teaching music to seniors there, and it was classical music. And again, we really, really had enjoyment as well as real joy in doing the work in Africa as well as the US. In between, for a short spell, I also went to Indonesia, in Bandung, where I was asked to take over a factory. But later, the company group decided not to proceed further, so we went back to Africa. That is my professional background.
No, thank you very much. So just to put some perspective, right, I think you have given, that you have spent 14 years in Africa, 16 years in US. What year are we talking about? Because things are so different back then, right? I mean, if it's 1970s, 1980s. So when was your time in Africa and US? If you can give some color to that, that would be very helpful, because things have changed so much since 2000, 2010 and so on. So just curious on that.
Yeah. In 78, we went there, and 93, we left Africa.
Okay. And then you went to US.
After we were in the US.
Yeah,
So we came back
2008.
2008.
great. And for the last 16 years, you have been living in India and
Do travel to USA
got it.
every year, almost every year.
Okay, great. So how was the life in Africa and US, and what made you to move back to India? Why not retire in one of those countries? Just curious.
Our parents were here. We wanted to be with them.
Okay.
We wanted to take care of them. That was the main reason.
So I think that was the main motivating factor to move back from US to take care of the parents.
Yeah.
Got it. So maybe you can talk about how is the life in India since the move and compare and contrast to the life abroad, if you can.
India is very good. The best place to be here. Best place for retired people.
Yeah,
See, we always say no place like America when you're working, no place like India if you're retired. That's the way I have always felt. To this day, I feel the same thing.
yeah,
And among 30 residents we have here today in our senior home, 50% of people whose children are settled in the US, the parents are here,
yeah,
settled in our group.
yeah. So I'm assuming you are from Bangalore. Is that the reason you relocated back to Bangalore, or is there some other reason?
See, in India, I have worked in quite a lot of areas. Bhopal, Indore, Gwalior, like that, I worked in a lot of places. But when I came back from my 30-year overseas stay, I had only two places in my mind. One was Indore, two was Bangalore. For some reason, I felt the people in these two states are very, very friendly and helpful.
Yeah,
Although I worked in more than half a dozen places, for some reason, I felt Madhya Pradesh and Karnataka, two places where people are extremely friendly
yeah,
and very easy to deal with them.
yeah.
Personally, I am from Bombay. Even now, I like Bombay because I was born and brought up in Bombay.
Yeah,
But living in Bombay is different from living in Bangalore.
yeah, but
No place like Bangalore for that matter. Really.
yeah, cool. I know you made that statement, right? I think India is the better place for retirement. Would you be able to expand on that? For someone who worked in abroad majority of their life, why India is better? What are the reasons why you say that India would be the best place for the retirement, if possible?
One of the reasons, straightforward, is the distance your dollar goes when you are in India.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
Two, the ease with which you can employ a cook, a maid, a driver, a whatever, and medical help and assistance at nearly 1/10 the cost. For seniors who are really, really going beyond 80, etc., this place is definitely comparably a better place than any of those
Got it.
more expensive locations. See, that definitely a big factor when seniors are beyond that age, because the money you see at the age of 60 does not have the same value when you are 90. The dollar number may be same, but $3,000 when you are 60, $3,000 when you are 90 are totally two different
Yes.
subjects. They are. And that needs to be factored in when seniors start talking about, no, I don't want to leave USA or UK or Australia or whatever. When all that must be spoken with age as a perspective. That is the way I have always felt. Of course, there are emotional reasons like your children are settled in those countries, your grandchildren are there. There's a babysitting required, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But still,
But you get the best service for the money
Yeah.
in India only.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, for example, in our location today, we have a doctor who comes to us whenever there is a need for anyone.
Yeah.
Where are those doctors who come home anymore, anywhere?
Yeah.
They don't exist. They just don't exist. You have to go to them, wait for a couple of hours in a queue or somewhere. But here, they come to you. The newspaper comes to you. The milk comes to you. You don't have to go and buy it. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Has a big advantage when your mobility is lesser and lesser as you go forward in age.
Yes.
See, again, once upon a time, 80 years was a great thing. But today people live beyond 90. And there are few who even hit 100. At that time, the need for assistance is immense. See, in US, when I was working for H&R Block, I used to see a 94-year-old man driving himself to the tax office.
Yeah.
But here you don't have to do that. You can have a driver, you can have a servant, you can have everything on call.
Yeah.
For you.
Even the auditor will come to your house
Yeah.
to do your tax return.
Yes. Yeah. So I know you are a CA, like a tax professional. I'm curious if you're okay. How did you plan from a financial side in terms of the retirement? While working abroad, you always have plans to move back to India. So is there anything that you can share from a financial planning about the move back to India?
We did not think on those terms. Throughout our career, the essential viewpoint was save as much as you can because nobody has seen tomorrow. That was the basic thing. There was no player saying, okay, this is the way I'm going to retire, stay in retirement. This is what I want. Not that way. Whatever I get, we should spend. I always tell my children and grandchildren, the straight rule for you is spend 50%, save 50% in whatever way you can. In whichever manner you save, but spend 50%, save 50%. You will never regret and you will never be short of money.
Yeah.
That's precisely what we have followed. And so far, everything seems okay.
That's great. And it also defines the the lifestyle that you're also leading, right? When you're trying to make sure that you're saving so much, you never go above and beyond certain lifestyle, which makes it hard to keep up with to the point from a financial perspective. Yeah.
Inflation is taken care of by that 50% rule approximately. That's the
So we don't have to change our lifestyle, even after retirement.
Yes.
That is the main attraction.
Yeah. If I may ask, have you taken up citizenship abroad, or you still have the Indian passport? And if so, are there any tax complications and anything that you would advise for somebody who is planning to retire in India with a different passport?
We have US citizenship. And we have taken OCF
Yeah.
here in India also.
file a tax return in the place where you reside,
Yeah.
which is India in our case. You also file a tax return in the US. And any tax you pay here is automatically adjusted in the other one.
Yeah.
So there is never a negative effect arising from that tax situation.
Good.
So it doesn't happen.
There is one common question that people have been asking. especially on the social security side, this is a common, generic question. So somebody who worked in US and who qualified for a social security pension, and if they're not living in US, do they still get the social security pension while living in India? So would you be able to answer that, or anything that you can shed light on that one?
Yeah, we do get
Irrespective of
wherever you live.
irrespective of where you ultimately reside, that social security credit is not affected in any way.
Yeah.
It credited to your bank in the US, which you can always use wherever you are.
Okay. No, thanks
There's
for
no issue with that.
Okay, thanks for confirming that. How is the life in India as part of a retirement? I know there is a big service that you're doing after moving back to India. Can you talk a little bit about that service as well as how the life is going?
We both are so busy taking care of this, our own group. And we also get time to relax and go out, do everything as we used to do before. There is no change in that. This additional charge has been taken care of by Mr. Ramakrishnan. And I am relaxing. On my part, I am relaxing.
Yeah.
One of the things all the lady residents here keep saying is, we don't have to do anything in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Because there is a continuous service available from the community kitchen.
Yeah.
There is a real relaxation available for all the resident seniors.
So if you can talk a little bit about that community service, the non-profit, I think that would be very helpful. I know you're doing a lot of good service. If you can talk about like how big, when it started and how it's going, and the genesis, that would be very helpful.
What really happened was, from this Samaj 15 years ago, 5 of us seniors were talking, hey, we are all getting old. Our children are not with us. They will not be with us. A time is coming when we will have to look after ourselves. So let us do something where we will all be in one place. You come and help me, I will help you. And let it be a totally non-profit program.
Yeah.
So we went about it that way, went and registered a non-profit trust, got the required tax exemption also for it, started small with just 14 apartments and only 14 people contributing to it, had a very formal opening ceremony. When all people came and saw those 14 apartments, they understood you can do this without a commercial intervention.
Yeah.
And they were really elated to see that. And more people joined. Then we did a few more buildings, again by contribution only. Everything is done by the resident contribution. No investing, no investor. Nothing like that. If I have a house, it is my own house. If somebody has an apartment, it is his own apartment, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
With a common, like a big family of 30 people. That is the concept we have followed. And everybody understands this is a totally unselfish project. It is that which actually the promoting factor there. So they understand, hey, nobody is looking for money from us. They are just trying to help each other. So that is the way this concept has been set up. Only thing is, we insist a strict vegetarian group to be in the group. That is the only condition we have taken. And people keep telling me, if you did not have that condition, you will have 100 residents now. So, but then it's okay. We need to choose our group anyway. That is how.
No, I just want to say thank you very much for doing that. And, doing that at this age, right? 88. and kind of building this community and helping each other and taking care. It just kudos to you, and thank you very much for doing that. Yeah.
The trustees are not getting any younger. So recently we have added another 4 or 5 younger trustees, so that going forward, the organization will continue as we have envisaged. And personal belief is they should be here for 50 years.
They will take over. The youngsters will take over later.
Yeah. Cool. Is there any advice or suggestions that you would give to families who are thinking about moving back to India? Whether it's for different reasons, any advice that you can share with them?
I will only specifically say one thing. When you move from one country to another, like we did from India to Africa, Africa to USA, USA to back to India, each country has its own ways of working. Say, America has its own way of working. India has its own way. Africa has its own way. We need to accept and accommodate ourselves, fit ourselves within that accommodation. See, when we left India and came back 30 years later, the road we were living on, you can't even cross the street. There was so much traffic. So things do change and things are different. If we are ready to accept those small things and feel happy for the good part, we are ready. Everybody should be ready.
Yeah.
If you have even one complaint out of 100, then it's not a very happy situation. You need to feel happy about it. It is the half full glass versus the half empty glass. Yeah. That's the only advice, if there is an advice that can be given to anybody.
That is applicable in any place.
Yes.
Whether it is India or USA or Africa, whatever be the place. Wherever you are, you should be happy.
Yeah. No, I think...
Yeah, actually. It's easy.
Yeah, for sure. So just continuing on that thought, I think there are different working styles, different cultures in Africa, in different places, right? As you mentioned. So if you can compare and contrast between Africa, US and India, anything that you can share or you wanted to share at a high level between these 3 different countries?
The common thing I notice in all the 3 places is people are very friendly. If you can be friendly with them.
Yeah, that's a key thing.
It's really common, it's really common. And of course, I was very scared, sort of apprehensive when I was leaving for Africa. But after I reached there, I found it so easy to manage the factories, manage the people, or be with them, kind of a thing. So same thing with the US. So just need to see, there are of course irritants every place, wherever you go, there are irritants in some form or the other. If you can remain unrattled by those, for at least for the initial period, no problem.
Okay.
It's good. Everything is good.
Yeah. That's great. I know it's been a little bit of a trouble for you to get on the Zoom and, trying to adjust the camera, but I really appreciate you taking the time and willing to share your journey with us, especially with someone who has spent 30 years abroad and been living in India for close to 16 years and still active, doing work, doing service. I really, really appreciate, you sharing your journey with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you for giving.
Thank you all for joining us on this insightful journey of Desi Return. If you enjoyed this episode and want to explore more stories and expert advice, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Don't forget to leave a comment below with your thoughts and experiences. By the way, check out the links in the description below for our Facebook group and social media for updates and engaging discussions as well as connecting with fellow Desi returners. Thank you once again, and until next time, may your Desi return journey be filled with joy, growth, and endless possibilities.